Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
1963, when they took the Brier to Brandon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Don Whitman with Don Duguid, two-time world champion.
Reveille will take the game.
Not a question about it. Right on the nose. It never wavers.
A little bit of curling history for you.
High drama, high intensity.
Hi again, curling fans. We're back. Call, we haven't seen that intro for a while.
Love that intro.
And I'm looking at your reaction from your 1982 Scotties win in Regina.
Mm-hmm.
You're going back to you and I at the Briar because Luke and the team is going.
Yes.
But you're also going back to the Scotties.
I know, but first to Regina, they're going to play in the same building we won the Scotties in.
Unbelievable.
So that's nostalgia. Everything I'm doing this year is a nostalgic trip. There we are, Team Heather Smith, Joe Brothers, Mark Christensen, Aaron Carmody, and Taylor Stevens.
Unbelievable. Congratulations, Colleen, and congratulations to Team Smith, now Team Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
The smiles tell the story, no doubt, is we're getting a clear picture, somewhat, Call, of the 2024 Scotties field. What a weekend it's shaping up to be.
Look at the field. How scary is this already, eh? Because of the two wild cards and having Jones and Homan in. And then, of course, we'll have two more wild cards. And Carey, of course, chasing another title.
Yeah.
Homan's been so hot this year. They look unstoppable to me. And we talk a lot about the quality of play for Canadian curlers, but another Grand Slam win for Rachel. She looks really good.
She looks really good. Of course, she's going to be on the show first. Saskatchewan Skyler Ackerman on the show. She's the youngest ever skip to win that title. Danielle Inglis, a friend of ours, Call, on the media bench for years. Forget it, she said. She's leaving the media bench and going into the Scotties field for the first time. She's on the show tonight as well. Bailey Scoffin, Melissa Adams, there as well. So 9 teams qualified, Call.
I know, but when you think of who's still to be determined,
right?
This is what makes this field like one of the best ever, because we're still waiting on, of course, will Krista McCarville be back? Will Manitoba's Caitlin Laws win Manitoba? She's up, by the way, of course, on Kate Cameron right now, so she could go straight to the final with a win. Yeah, Alberta's really interesting too.
Yeah, so many important games in Alberta. A big night there tonight. Serena Gray Withers is 5-1. Selena Sturmey 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
And they square off against each other tonight in Alberta. Call.
Laurie St. George, of course, has been just cruising in Quebec. So likely she'll be back. And they look like even a stronger team. So it's nice to see these improvements that teams are making all the time. It won't be Suzanne Burt out of Team Prince Edward Island, because we were talking about that. She don't know if it's a full-out resignation, but she definitely stepped back for this year. But Jane DeCarlo straight into the PEI final after a good round robin. And we're looking at Newfoundland and Labrador as well. Team Godsland is in the driver's seat there. She's on the ice now playing Haley Gushu.
How good is that?
That's really good.
That is one thing. And hello, curling fans. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I know you're enjoying it. Let me just say, as a complete aside, Call, how lucky are we to have all of these streams to watch all of these games? I am getting nothing done because with the time zones, you can go from Newfoundland to BC and watch curling from 8 a.m. till midnight or past.
No kidding. When I think of my first Scotties in 82, before streaming, before 24-hour news, making me sound like a dinosaur, I would go to the Dalhousie University Library and get the Winnipeg Free Press or the Winnipeg Sun just to get scores, just to get an idea of something. You had no intel. Now, as a coach, I already know the game plans of what everybody's sort of playing. I know it can change, but you're able to kind of study what they're doing, 1 up, 2 up, hammer, no hammer, and so on. It's a whole new world.
By the way, you're such a fierce competitor. I know that even when we're on the Lunenburg ice, you and I. What's it like, Call, to be on the other side of it, to be a coach? I know the nerves were there on Championship Sunday.
Yeah. The nerves are there, but you're biting your fingernails and there's nothing much you can do, right? You just hope that everything you've been doing through the season, and this would go for every coach, is paid off. But you're really helpless. You can at least for the first time all season call a timeout if needed, unlike sort of a cash bail where you can't.
Right.
But what a coaching staff not staff, that's the wrong word, but behind the bench at the Scotties, you've got Glenn Howard, you've got Don Bartlett, you've got Reed Carruthers. I mean, it's
Kevin Cooey. Kevin Cooey is going to be joining Carrie Galusha. I don't know if that's some breaking news. Carrie's on the show tomorrow night, so we'll ask her more about that. But this Cooey family, and I believe Jamie has clinched another title in Northwest Territories. They continue to give back to the game. So Kevin is coaching Carrie at the Scotties.
Yeah. It's ridiculous talent too. I mean, like Carrie has been knocking on the door. I can't wait to see what she brings to the table this year with Kevin at the bench. But she's a really smart skip. She calls a wonderful game. So, I mean, they're all so talented, those Cooeys. It runs in the genes.
There is
going to be like the Gushues. We'll be seeing the next generation.
Well,
soon.
and to that point, I know Carrie Anderson's daughters are loving the game as well. And so I think, and of course, Carrie Galusha's daughter, Sydney, I believe she wants to get into the fray as well. And all the curling fans are commenting on your new glasses. They love it.
They're my smart glasses, or Austin Powers, whoever. I've just probably
they're your coaching glasses. Jam-packed show. We're awaiting Rachel Homan to join us, and then we're going to get into it. Heather Smith is going to be joining us. Ackerman, Danielle Inglis, and breaking news tonight as well on the Pan-Continental Curling Championships.
Great. I can't wait for that. Also, we'll be tapping into all the games that are going on right now. And I know in British Columbia, which is going to be just, a real sort of battle for the finish. It's Ryan playing bowls on the ice. And the under 21 team skipped their bowls. Guess who? Just my intel from Marianne Arsenault out in British Columbia. And I should have known this. I should have been able to remember this. But they're an under 21 team. So this is really great experience for the young team.
Sure.
But Mike Harris's daughter is the lead on this team.
Oh, you're outstanding. So I know Mike will be glued to this game. Fantastic timing. We're bringing this is live right now on CBC Sports and streaming, and we're watching it right now as we get set actually for Kristen Ryan's final rock here in the seventh end, the playdowns in Victoria. Jonathan Cullen calling this game, and let's watch it 4-3 in the 3-4 game. The winner goes to the semi.
Already saying they need backing.
Where they'd play Corin Brown, and of course Clancy Grandy is advanced to the final. And let's just see this come into the house. What is she got to do? Looks like a tap for
Yes, she will. So Kristen Ryan,
nice shot. That'll put them very much in the driver's seat now. But for this under 21 team, is there any better preparation for them? They're gonna. Was that a shake hands? Maybe. Did I see a glove come off?
I think a little early for that. 6-3 going to the eighth, and in Manitoba right now, Caitlin Law's up 6-4 on Kate Cameron in the eighth end. That's a big game there.
Well, it is because first off, it would send Caitlin Laws right to the final for the Manitoba Championship. But she's also in a great position for a wild card spot. And I wonder if that just keeps her looser in this game, sort of knowing, okay, I've got, it's the old bird in the hand is worth two in a bush. Never really understood that saying, Devin. I don't know about you.
Well, so I wasn't listening. I'm texting Rachel Homan right now to tell her to join us.
Good. Multitask.
Yes.
But I just wonder with Caitlin knowing that she'd be a good wild card opportunity, whether or not, she's got that sort of locked in, if that takes the pressure off trying to win Manitoba.
Well, should Rachel join us, that's one of the things we're going to talk about, because obviously they made that rule change last April, talking about the fact they wanted the CTRS rankings to pre-qualify teams so they didn't have to run around, chase things. There's the standings right now. Rachel at the top of the standings, Jennifer Jones. So it's really, really interesting when you start to look at this. Call, we could get down that list if, let's say Caitlin Laws wins, Danielle already won. Let's say Sherman wins, maybe Corinne Brown. You could get down into that 8th and 9th area by this weekend ends.
Right. And look at young Skyler Ackerman too. She's very much high on that list. So she's accumulated a lot of points. I had to say when I was watching her play, I was wondering, well, who is this? Shame on me. Because if you're not in all of those spiels, you tend not to see these teams. And, but, so you're right. You could start working your way down the list, but the people on that list are really solid players, and they've accumulated, especially Kate Cameron. She's been going hard this winter, as has Danielle Inglis. So not surprised to see their rise in the standings.
Well, and they've been at it for a while. They finally, Danielle gets that breakthrough. We're going to make a pivot, and we're going to bring in Heather Smith. Who's spending a lot of time.
No conflict of interest here for me at all, by the way.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, she's the best. She paid me to say that. Hi, Heather.
Hi, guys. Happy Saturday evening.
Yeah, thank you for spending it with us, Heather. And so wonderful to see you. Colleen gets all this time with you, so I'm happy to be joining the party. And congratulations, Heather.
Thank you, Devin.
How does it feel? Another Scotties.
Yeah, it feels a little surreal. I'm, not going to lie. It's, I walked away from this sport several years ago to focus on my kids and their busy lives. And I wanted to just be there to watch them pursue their dreams. And it was taking me away from that. So, I prioritized that. And I honestly didn't think I'd be back in the women's competitive space. And last year I got a chance to go to the Scotties with Team New Brunswick, reunited with Jill. And it's just, I got the juices flowing being there and just getting back and playing. And, I think I felt I had a little bit that I could contribute still, and decided to get back in.
And you saying that you stepped aside for your kids, it just gave me goosebumps, because I think a lot of people think it's over by a certain age. And you're just proof, because you seem to throw better than ever. What did it mean to win in front of your two kids? Because they would have been young the last time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was the most special part of it, because they've been to a number of provincials with me. They've been to Scotties with me, and they don't really remember. They don't remember our bronze medal win. My son was trying to tell me our best finish ever was 5th. And I said, well, no, you were there. We won the bronze medal in Charlottetown. And he said, oh, weren't you just an alternate on that team? And I'm like, no, I was actually skipping that team. So it's just funny how they were there, but they do not recall those things. So having them there behind the glass was super special. And they were just so excited, more excited than I thought they would be. So that was probably the best part of it all.
Heather, you looked so confident and so in the zone. It was a pleasure to watch. How did you find that, and how do you explain that that feeling? Because you were exuding confidence on the ice.
Yeah, Colleen knows, I'm a big journaler. I kind of had seen it all happen before it even happened that day. Even the 1-2 game, I just felt it. And, I don't know how you get there to that feeling, but it certainly was there for me. Really the whole week of provincials, but really importantly, in the 1-2 and finals. And, I think it just comes from a deep belief that, you've put the work in, you believe that you can do it. You've been there before, which obviously that's the nice thing about our team. We have so much depth in the 4 players, so much talent, so much experience that I knew we could draw on that. And that gave me the confidence probably to just go out there and play like that.
Yeah, it certainly is an experienced team with Marie Christensen, who of course played with Team Burt, and then Jill Brothers, who's been to several Scotties and was with you representing Team New Brunswick last year, and Andrea Kelly and Aaron Carmody as well, and young Taylor Stevens is the 5th former Canadian junior champ. What did it mean to beat Christina Black? Because she has certainly just shown everybody what a star player she is at the Scotties. So what did it mean how to face an opponent like that, who's high up in the rankings and has certainly put a ton of work into it?
Well, they are just a first-class team. We have so much respect for them, and we knew we were going to have to bring it. I mean, Devin, when you said what made you well, we knew we were going to have to, right? You're not going to just go in playing Christina Black in a 1-2 and final and not play an exceptional game. You have to play an exceptional game to win that. So just huge respect. I just honestly think they just are an incredible, classy team. They represented Nova Scotia so well last year. And, I certainly hope that we can keep that standard going. And there's so many talented players here in Nova Scotia. And, meeting them in the final, we knew we had to bring it. And, it's great. It's good to see some depth here again.
Heather, Colleen is humble to a fault and she'll deflect all the time. So here's a moment for us to steal the show from her. What has she meant to this team?
Everything. Yeah, everything. We were so lucky when she said yes to us. And we knew she was going to be a huge factor in bringing us together, keeping us in the right headspace, making us work hard, but also enjoying the moment as well. And, Colleen, because she's a player and has played at always the highest of levels in this sport, knows what to say, knows how to push us. And honestly, we're just, I'm really honored. I'm really honored to go to the Scotties with her as her, in her first coaching role, and to be that team that she gets to help succeed at that week.
Oh,
beautiful.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Well,
but really, they're so good. They're, the four of them, when you look at their resumes, you can't help but go, wow, if you can just tap into all of that experience that they have.
And that's what
their knowledge.
You reminded us all year. You say you guys are a new team, but you're not new to the game. You're so experienced. So I think it just took us a long time to get out of our own way this year. And we finally figured out how to do that, I think.
I love it. Heather, winding down, thank you for spending Saturday night with us. Can you look ahead? There's still a lot of spaces on the bingo card to be filled in the Scotties field, but maybe just some quick thoughts there, Heather, as we look over it. Some eye-popping talent, as always.
Well, you know what? It's an incredible field already. And, we know, after this weekend, it's going to be that much harder. It's just thrilling for me. I'm going to go into this Scotties just enjoying every single moment with our incredible team. And I know if we play like we did in the final two games in our provincial, that, we will be in the mix because of our experience, and we can, we know we can bring it. And I think, as I've coached the last few years, and I always said to the kids, like, you're playing the rocks, right? Like, you don't get worried about who you're playing against. You have to make your shots, and you worry about yourself. And that's just what we're going to do, one shot at a time.
So true. Wonderful. We'll see you first thing in the morning for practice. No. Get a bigger journal. That's what I say for this. Guys.
Yeah. A new fancy journal for the Scotties. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys. Have a great show.
Good to see you, Heather. Thank you. Great stuff.
She should really be an inspirational coach. Like, she is the most positive person that I've ever met. And it just resonates then right down.
You said it. You took the words out of my mouth. She literally is just exuding just this calm, confident aura. I think even fans watching the show tonight, that as well. It's soothing, really.
Yeah, and it's not cliches. I mean, she walks the walk and talks the talk. And what she said about stepping back to just spend time with the kids and raise the kids and be there for the kids. That's a hard thing to do. And now, as we watch all of the curlers juggling motherhood, I think if they watch a couple of games at the Scotties and see the way Heather Smith at 50 is still throwing the game and believing, not worn out, she's fresh as a daisy, that you don't need to try to do this massive juggle all the time. A year off, 2 years off doesn't hurt you, and you can come back to the game you love. Rather than what we often see is when people feel they have to step away from the game totally.
Well, Colleen, I mean, you proved that. 17 years between wins, right? Delay is not defeat.
That's right.
You were there for the kids.
Yeah. I still played, but I was not like as focused and not doing the spiels and all of that, and then won again at 39 years of age. So this is a sport that, if you don't allow yourself to burn out, can just keep giving you a ridiculous amount of joy. When I think about the second family I have as a curling at the curling club and the curling team, I mean, it brings me nothing but joy.
Just a note, we're saying all the talent that's going to be there. Is it me or has Carrie Anderson sort of flown under the radar this year? She's going for 5 consecutive Scotties, but just flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's been so far the Rachel Homan show on the Canadian women's scene. And you're right about flying under the radar. And in some ways, this is what they want Team Canada to be doing, right? Focusing on training, focusing on improving technique. There's always something else to learn in this sport because you never totally own it. It's a little like golf. You could be a great golfer, but yet the next weekend maybe somebody else is winning the big event. So I mean, I'm not counting out Carrie at all, but I like your description of her flying under the radar. It hasn't been sort of headline material, but yet how great she is. And I think that's going to be sort of a bit of a, you just know she's going to show up at the biggest moment that she has for the last 4.
We're seeing Valerie here saying it's Rachel's winning this year, doing it for Tracy fans. We always love hearing from you. Like us, click the like button. Let us know what you think of what's going to happen. Top of her game, gave birth to another baby. So yeah, Rachel is in fine form, and you really get the sense that this is her Scotties to lose in a lot of ways with the way the season has been going. Rachel is going into her 10th Scotties and call.
Wow.
We're going to go to Saskatchewan, because somebody getting ready for her first Scotties ever, Skyler Ackerman at 22 years old. What a win. What a thrilling victory it was over Nancy Martin. 10-9. Joins us now. Skyler, wonderful to see you. Here's a little bit of history for you. I did some digging with Curl Sask. I don't know if you knew this. You got to go back to 1984. Lori O'Leary was 22 years old, but she was born July 15th, and you were 22 a month earlier than her. So you are the youngest in Saskatchewan history to win a provincial title. Hi to you. Congratulations.
Hi. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Did you know that little statistic, by the way?
I didn't know that far back, but I knew in recent years for sure that our team was definitely one of the youngest. That's for sure. But yeah, that's a pretty cool experience, and really thankful to do it with the crew that I have.
Did you go in believing you could win this title this year?
We worked really hard all year, and we had this kind of at the top of our list as our biggest event where we wanted to have the most success. So we're really glad that all our hard work paid off, and we're all going to our first Scotties.
All right, let's go to the game-winning shot. It was
which was nerve-wracking. Were you nervous? I was nervous watching.
I wasn't not nervous.
Look, you're praying. Your head is down. You are deep in prayer. Okay, keep going.
Skylar, take us through the shot. Colleen's nervous, but 9-9 against Nancy Martin. You've got a hit to win the title. Take us through it.
We had thrown this intern hit a couple of times this game, so we didn't really talk about any other shots. We kind of just put the broom down, and I asked for more ice in the hack, and I think my team was a little bit nervous when I did that. But yeah, it all worked out. I was nervous when I let go just because it was such a big shot, the biggest shot of my curling career so far for sure. But as soon as Ashley called clean, I knew we were good, and yeah, we were all just so excited.
Yeah.
There's no other sport where you have to control yourself, shake your opponent's hands, wait to celebrate, and then you finally get to celebrate. And I think there's some tears and some emotion, Skylar. Look at this.
And those 4 young girls are quite excited.
That's so great. Tell us about the team.
We're honestly just like the best of friends on and off the ice. We're all very similar, have that really competitive drive and the love for the game, and really committed to this sport and this team. And I think that helps us a lot, just being able to communicate that open all the time, just because we are really good friends on and off the ice.
Skylar, I'm from Saskatchewan. You know how deeply I care about curling and the great tradition we have in the province. You represent and curl out of the Nutana, about 10 minutes from my house. What can you say about where we're at in our province as we look at the team there, about where we're at, and you representing a new chapter at 22 years old in our province's history?
It's pretty special and pretty incredible for us to be such a young team and be able to get this experience going to our first Scotties like at the age that we're at. And we're just really, really, really looking forward to the opportunity and hoping to inspire some other younger curlers to stick with the sport and keep going and show them that hard work really does pay off in the end.
Who were your role models in Saskatchewan?
Definitely, I really looked up to Amber Holland growing up and Sherry Anderson. They both had so much success in their careers for sure. And I just love their calm demeanor on the ice and really, really admire that about them.
Do you bring some of that calm?
Pardon?
Do you bring some of that calm yourself?
I try to. Everyone keeps telling me that I seemed so calm out there. I don't know how calm I necessarily felt, but it's something that we've been working on really hard this year, is just trying to stay in the moment during the game.
We've been talking about the incredible field at the Scotties. When you look at it, does some of it, make you a little nervous? I mean, what's your experience against Jennifer Jones and Rachel and Carrie, the top three?
Yeah, definitely nerve-wracking. We're just kind of honored to be part of that caliber of teams at this event here, and just really looking forward to the opportunity to play against those teams. Try to just take things one shot at a time and not get too worried about who we're up against, but just focus on ourselves and kind of what we do best.
Well, I can't wait to watch you and be completely non-objective when I'm watching your game at this.
And he's not. Like, if Saskatchewan's playing, he loses all objectivity, but he owns it. He admits to it.
I admit to it. And I don't know, Call, you're both going to be there. Obviously, we're awaiting the pools and how they shake down. I think we'll probably get them this coming week once all the teams shake out. So we'll see if Nova Scotia and Saskatchewan end up playing each other.
Oh, I know. It is hard because you don't know that yet. It has to be decided. Probably Sunday night, we'll know.
Yeah. Skylar, congratulations again. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Good luck in Calgary. And of course, I'll be watching and cheering.
And what a great last shot. I love a nice hit and stick, a little roll for the win.
Thank you.
Needs to draw to the pin.
Well, Skylar, Colleen won one of her Scotties by hitting and rolling after a measurement. Almost kind of like that shot. Do you remember one call?
Yeah, sometimes it's the simplest thing, especially in arena ice that might start fudging. Don't you find, Skylar? Don't you kind of go, I don't even have to think about this, just throw it?
Yeah, there's a little more, you kind of know the weight a little bit better. And the sweepers, if you throw the right weight, the sweepers can kind of have a little bit of control over it too on those good ice conditions that we had.
Yeah, nice.
Can be an easy game sometimes, can't it? Skylar, thanks so much. Congratulations. Send my best to the team and good luck in Calgary.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Outstanding. So fun, Cole. It is quite something when you have a first timer going up against these. Yes, I am from Saskatchewan.
I think that's they're totally surprised. Nobody would have guessed that, Jan. Nobody.
Right. Now, I love our community here, by the way. There is something to be said, Cole, about going into your first Scotties and not really knowing, right? Not knowing, like ignorance almost can be blissful in this event.
Well, it's funny. I remember it was Sandra Schmirler and then Marilyn Bodo who would say to me, "They're Team X. Forget who you're playing. It's just Team X." And it, now you hear that all the time, but it was a novel concept for me at the time, not to think about who I'm playing. Of course, you want to know some of the game plan or some of the tendencies or the analytics of it, but you don't want to get overwhelmed by the fact that this is who you're playing. So if you can keep blinders on and just play the rocks, as Heather Smith said, it just becomes just a curling game, just another curling game. And I do think for Team Saskatchewan being so young and having no expectations from anybody about how this is going to go down, it just, that helps as well. Expectations, as soon as your head gets in the way with expectations and outcome, you're sort of in trouble, right? So
on the ice and in life. Okay, we have an update out of Manitoba. A big win for Caitlin Laws over Kate Cameron, 8-4 in 8 ends. So Caitlin, I believe, by virtue of that victory call, will go directly to the championship game.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, she
So
goes straight, and then Kate will drop down into that 2-3 game. I don't know if I have who she's going to play here.
I think that's yet to be determined, perhaps.
Yeah.
Beth Peterson with a game, perhaps right now. So maybe we can get that update.
And then Clancy Grandy is in tomorrow's in British Columbia. I think we've said that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. From one first-time winner to another, and this one's really special. Somebody we know very, very well, Colleen. Let's bring in Danielle Inglis.
Oh, yay, Danielle.
Oh.
Hey guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you look so happy.
So happy, running on 2.5 hours of sleep and a lot of adrenaline.
Oh, so was there a party?
Well, we didn't finish our game until about 11:30 at night. So by the time we got through the celebrations on ice pictures and whatnot, we only had a very short time at the patch.
Yeah,
very short time at the patch, and I'm sure, Danielle, congratulations. The adrenaline was probably pumping. We've got the last shot of the game. We were up watching it.
Yeah.
Let's go through it right now because I was nervous for you, Danielle.
Oh, I was too for a minute. I had just thrown that pass, and I knew I had thrown it just a titch straighter than my last one, and that spot was a little straighter, so I knew it would run more.
No, just let it grab.
So I'm praying at this moment.
Right, exactly. I mean, it helps to talk to the curling gods.
And she does.
I think
You had it all
everybody,
day.
including Sam and Mary, who were calling it, I think everybody was holding their breath. And then
Great shot
we
by
made
Danielle.
it.
Great game. How exciting.
What was this game like after you scored the 4-ender and then Carly came back with the 3 right away, where you're like, oh, no, hold on. Like, I mean, I just can't imagine that scenario where you're kind of going, okay, just hold on here. We've scored a 4.
Yeah, you know what? We had in our first game against Carly, we had scored another big end, and it was earlier on in the game. And with the 10-end game, you really can't take your foot off the pedal. It's a long game. There's a lot of opportunity to score points, and even at that point in the there's still plenty of ends left. And well, as you saw, they scored a 3 right back on us and game on again. We felt like we had control over the whole game, but we really need to bring all of that focus and that confidence to that.
You had a crazy busy season. You seem to be everywhere this year. So tell me how that helped improve the team, get you to the Ontario Scotties Championship, etc.
Well, we had made a few goals of this season. One of them being to get to the Skies. Of course, that was the ultimate goal. We also had wanted to win 2 tournaments this season, which we also did. We had another goal of wanting to make it to Slam, and we made it to the Tier 2 Slam semifinal. We were so close to getting to that final and potentially playing in for a spot in the main Slam, Tier 1. So that's still a goal for our team. So in order to do that, we knew we needed to play. So we played early. We started off in Quebec in August, and then looking at where the points were stacking up towards the end of the season, we saw an opportunity that Scotland was looking for a team. So we put our entry in.
Wow.
Nice. And did you win that one?
We didn't. We lost the semi to Clancy Grandy, who went on to win it.
Got it.
All right, and we're watching.
Sorry to bring up a loss.
No. We're watching what unfolds in BC. Danielle, so many people are thrilled for you because you pour your heart into this sport. Who have you heard from, and just personally, for how much you've been a part of this game, what does this represent for you?
Oh my gosh, the outpouring of support has just been overwhelming. I can't thank people enough for their support, and the people who I didn't even know were watching. I didn't even know were perhaps paying that close attention to it. Both curlers and non-curlers alike. It's so touching to receive those messages and that kind of support. I know that our team is not very well known on the bigger curling world, and we're just excited to get out there and do what we love on the big stage.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So are you can't wait for the whole field to be decided in order to see what pool you're in?
Yeah, we've got to wait till Monday, Tuesday to find that out. So we're just sitting here eagerly watching all the skies. Like I said, it's exciting. Now it's nice to have finished on a Friday, so now we can sit back and watch for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah,
we're in good position for the wild card spot too. Did that maybe take a little pressure off of being in the final at all?
A little bit. Selena jumped us when she played in the Slam, so that there was still a ton of pressure. We knew she was a heavy favorite for Alberta, but still Skrillex, a great team too. So honestly, we knew our destiny was in our own hands to win Ontario. So that's what we set out to do.
To that point, Danielle, we know the rule change happened last April. You and I have had a lot of conversations about things over the years. The one with the pre-qualified, allowing teams to know. How did you navigate that this year? How much of a difference was that, knowing that those pre-qualified teams were out of the way? There were these other spots. Of course, none of it dropping out created that other spot. But how did that feel this year, knowing all of that?
Well, Rachel Homan in Ontario is a pretty unstoppable force. I mean, last time we beat her provincial was 2008 juniors with an outturn draw of the forefoot. And it was... And so, like, they're such a strong team. I really admire their team and all the work that they've put into the game over the years. And they're a tough team to beat. So having them out of the field in Ontario really opened up the opportunity for teams, well, like ours, tons of team in the field here, who now have the opportunity to get to that next step. And that's huge to have that opportunity. Every time you're playing another level, you're learning so much more, and you're just developing that confidence. And so being able to get that opportunity now, it's just priceless.
I love that. I love that.
I kind of call it the Gushu effect too. You know, that he got to keep going back to the Briar for many times for Newfoundland and Labrador, kept learning, kept improving, you know, and then the breakthrough in 2006 or 2005, I guess, at the Olympic trials to go to the Olympics. Yeah. But that repeated figuring out what you need to do against the best is a wonderful learning tool.
Oh gosh, it's so huge. And I know I've been fortunate in my career to have played at nationals, worlds, but there's something special about the Scotties too. And that's been a dream of mine for years. I've been chasing this for a long time. So thrilled to finally be here.
Well, I've been hearing from our journalist buddies today saying our media pal made it. And so, you know, we're really thrilled for you, Danielle. We know how much you put into this. So good luck at the Scotties. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
See you there.
Yeah.
There.
I'll be the one with 18 layers on, Devin, because I'm thinking not moving for a full game. I'm going to be exhausted.
Well, yeah, you're going to be down. I mean, it's funny. All of you who would normally be on the media bench are going to be down at ice level calls.
Right.
It's good. It's good. We've got a final shot here at the BC play downs, and we're looking at Ryan up 6-4 with hammer in the 9th. And it looks, Call, like this could be a shot to seal the deal here. Up 2 with hammer. You score 2 here, it's probably lights out, I would think.
Yeah, playing. But the Emily Bulls team is really under 21, and that's their focus to get to Fort McMurray and the Canadian juniors. And Mike Harris's daughter, Mara, plays on the team, on Emily's team. So for a lot of the junior teams, we even saw this in Nova Scotia, they go into the Scotty playdowns as a tune-up, and it's a great practice for them. They'll be disappointed, no doubt, because no one plays the game to lose.
It looks like this is good, and that's a hit, and that's a stick for 2, and it makes it 8-4. And you think handshakes might be coming, Call, with the score 8-4 with just one end to play.
Yeah. Well, this is true practice. You know, you see how that corner guard situation plays out for you. it ain't over yet, I guess.
It ain't over yet. I got a question as we were watching that, Colleen, and then we're going to go to Darren Moulding, Chelsea Carey, and Colin Hodgson for some breaking news. But Kathy Cook asks you, Call, are you the type of coach that puts a lot of stock in analytics?
I put it in everything. I mean, we were doing analytics before analytics was formed, because you always, after the game, would get Curling Canada's game report. So it would give you the outturn draw breakdown, the outturn hit, internet, and that's all we had. I mean, now it gets way more detailed in terms of softer shots and things like that. But yeah, I think if you can see a tendency for somebody for a different turn, a certain turn or whatever, I don't even know that you'll see that at the Scotties. I think everybody is really strong. Also about what does it look like for these teams when they're 1 up coming home or 2 up? You know, what are the chances of winning the game? Do they always complete?
Can I push back a little? Because there's also a school of thought. It probably would be me because I feel too much and go on emotion.
You do have to do some of that too.
You
have to know when to pivot.
Right.
Yeah. You need to know when it's time to go for the kill and when it's not. And that is a sixth sense. That I would say every great skip knows, because they've been there, done that, and just over time they go, this is where we really need to, you know, put an extra guard on or come around, sink another one, right? Yeah, without a doubt, instinct and gut instinct plays a part in, and what do you feel? That is a question we heard a lot last year when we were at the World Men's from Guju.
Right.
What do you want to do? What are you feeling? What are you feeling, right? So to play to those strengths sometimes is good too. But analytics is another tool that everybody's diving deeper into. And you don't want to your point, you don't want to get too lost in it.
Yeah.
Because some games you're sensed to do something different, given how the team is playing against you on that day and in that moment. Is more important than any analytic you'll ever get.
There you go.
I still love analytics. You just want to use, there's now a lot of tools in a toolbox for you to use, and that's certainly a massive one.
All right, the waiting is over. Time for some breaking news. And I absolutely love this call because, of course, we dug into the Pan-Continental Curling Championships controversy. Brad Gushue making the headlines over some of the dismay he had over how it was ran. And listening to all of that in the background were curlers Darren Moulding, Chelsea Carey, and Colin Hodgson. They said, we want to take up the call. And there they are right now. Wonderful to see all of you on a Saturday night house party. And so let's get right to it. The 2024 Pan-Continental Curling Championships are in Lacombe, Alberta. And I believe that's where we find Darren Moulding tonight. Darren, you are the chair. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, we secured the bid to have the Pan-Continental Championship this October 27th to November 2nd, and it was it's been a bit of a process. We've worked closely with the committee in Kelowna, with the city here in Lacombe, and with the curling rink, and we just thought, let's try and bring this event to Lacombe, and then we got a really good committee together, lots of support, and Chelsea and Colin are here, but we also have 11 other committee members plus dozens and dozens of volunteers already. So we are ready to turn this place here into a show for curling from all over the world.
Nice. Colin, I got to ask why, because I'm not an organizer of any kind. So to me, this seems like such a daunting task that I could never handle. But what's the why for you?
I grew up in Lacombe. I learned, I cut my teeth there. I learned how to, they gave me a place and a space. I used to spend lunch hours at school when I didn't really feel like I belonged, and I wanted to spend my time there. So this was a great opportunity to give back to that. And throughout our travels over the years, Chelsea, Darren, and myself, we've traveled the world and we've had amazing experiences. And what we wanted to do is really bring culture back to where we're from, and to just really share with the athletes and to put on a great event. I played in men's provincials where Darren knocked me out of the playoffs, I think in 2014. Chelsea had a provincial championship there as well, and it was a beautiful ice surface, a beautiful arena, and I just finishing up with curling on the ice for me, it's gave me a lot of purpose to work in a different space and to really maybe turn some to just generate positivity. And I think Lacombe can use it, but I think, the world coming to a beautiful community like that is really important as well.
Nice.
Can I just say, it's wonderful to see the three of you. We haven't got the FaceTime of the three of you. So it's just, I'm so happy. And I know curling fans are loving seeing you.
Yeah. And also, Devin, that Colin's totally over that loss to Darren from 2014. He doesn't remember it.
This is a therapy session right now.
We had to hash it out a little last year before we curled together, but we're okay.
Chelsea, you're going to oversee making sure that the athletes are taken care of. And this is such a huge thing. You have been so thoughtful on the athlete perspective for so long. So how important is it in the wake of everything to get this right for the athletes and make sure that this event lives up to what I think we all think it can be?
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me. It was, none of us loved to hear the news last year, and I don't fault Brad for it. It sounds like there was some challenges, and those are real concerns, and that's what we want to avoid. So, I can look at it from an organizational perspective, but that's not really my role as much in this situation. It's more, if I were a player, what would I want to see? If I were a player, where am I going to stretch? Like, what I want to do is go into the arena and into the curling club and walk it as if I was about to start a game. Walk in the front end, whatever entrance I'm coming in, go into the dressing room. What does that look like? What kind of amenities are in there? How much room is in there? Go from there to the playing surface. How does that look? If I had to go to the bathroom during the game, how far is that away? Is that convenient? Is the door open for me? Is there proper carpeting there that my shoes aren't going to get dirty? Just all those little things that, when you've played in a lot of these events, you've seen it done really well. And you've seen somewhere you're like, I wish that was like this. And I wish this arena had that. So to be able to contribute on that side and to also then go and talk to some of the players, who are going to be competing in it or who have in the past and say, what did you like? What didn't you like? What would you like to see? For me is a cool thing and something I think I can lend to, just having been a player in these types of events, a few times and seen, what was good and what could maybe be done better.
Yeah. Is there gum in the basket? That was a big one for me. So Darren, tell me about the level of work from now to then, right? I mean, it sounds like it's
well, the even the bidding process was incredibly stressful for me, but in a good way. Like, I'm learning. I thought I knew everything about curling, but then I realized I don't at all know everything about curling, but I do have a lot of knowledge. But I've been learning a lot, and there's been some weeks it's a full-time. I'm trying to do it and with my jobs and be a dad, and I mean, we're all doing that, right? And I mean, I can speak for the rest of the committee, that other people on the committee, we've got so much talent on the committee. You're looking at, obviously 2 very talented people here, 3 if you count me, I guess. But we have so many people that know, like, marketing, the facility, the city, the culture, the hotels. Like, it's been amazing to see everyone come together. And I actually feel like, even though there's a lot of work to do, I feel like I've got such a good group around me and this team here. Like, they're, we've already got subcommittees. They're taking ownership of their roles. And for me, being in Lacombe here and being able to be here every day, I'm able to sort of tie in some of those ideas to, actually what's happening here. So I think with everything we've got going here, at the end of the day, we'll be able to produce a very entertaining, successful event.
And listen, it's right where it needs to be in terms of a community that's going to wrap its arms around it. It's going to be the biggest ticket in town, near Red Deer. I have family there. I might have to make a trip out there. But it's also placed between Edmonton and Calgary. So you have a lot of communities that can make the trip there. Tickets go on sale February 20th. And I know a lot of curling fans are ready to get out there. I think this is a beautiful story because you have 3 curlers who care deeply about it, coming together, giving back to the sport. The athlete voice needs to be at the center of this. Colin, some words on that.
Yeah, I think it's just really important that this event until you've experienced this event, it's really difficult to explain what it was. And that's what we're trying to get across here, is that this event isn't about wins and losses. It's about the opportunity for nations to compete and to grow and to see a future and to see hope. And I think that's what we really need, not just in the curling world, but in the sporting world. Sport can be such a beautiful bridge for issues. We just want to be able to see ourselves and to see our future, to see our youth have that opportunity. So it's, I really am excited for the A side to be a great event, but it's that B side where nations are competing internationally for the first time, or you see representation. Team India, for example, which Darren's coached, and Chelsea and I actually have been very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with. They're from different areas in the country, so they come from different backgrounds, and they're really bringing it together. So what we would hope is that for Indian population in the area, if people can see this curlers from that area and they're doing it here, why wouldn't we bring this together? Curling has been such a sport, more of a European sport in the past, and what we're hoping to accomplish is to really cross some of those barriers and just bring people into it. Everybody talks about being inclusive, but being inclusive is really just an olive branch for welcoming people to it. So it's not about wins and losses for me. It's about representation and being able to see a possible future. So that's why I'm involved.
Yeah, being inclusive is really just a word until you see it in action and trying to actually grow. But Chelsea, when you guys won the bid, the 3 great curlers in a real unique opportunity, what was your reaction? Were you, wow, they actually chose us. We're getting to do it.
Yeah, it was when I first talked about it with Darren, it seemed like so far away, but he was pretty confident that we were going to get it, that they were going to grant it to us and stuff. But you just don't know until it's official. And once it's official, it hit me like a freight train a little bit, both good and bad, like the amount of work we're about to take on, but also like how cool a thing is this that we get to do. And I have no real tie to Lacombe other than these two so I've spent more time in Lacombe than I have in any other city besides Calgary, probably, because I'm just constantly up there to visit one of these guys or something. So I'm really excited about it. It was my first Alberta provincial, actually, that was in Lacombe. And it's just it's the right size of community. It's a great group of people. I just think it has the potential to be really successful. And when Darren approached me and mentioned that Colin was also going to be part of it, it just seemed like a no-brainer. So I'm thrilled. And it was overwhelming, and it still is overwhelming. We had the first couple of meetings, and it's a lot, but it's just such a great opportunity that it's worth it. It's going to be super cool.
I remember when I got the call that we actually got the bid, and I was kind of like leaving no possibility of losing, which I would have dealt with it. But once I realized we got it, I like fist pumped, screamed. I'm like, woo! And then I go into my truck. I get into my truck and I start my truck and I look out the window. I'm like, uh-oh. What did we just do? What did I just do? Yeah. But we're going to pull it off. So it'll be fine.
Outstanding. It's such a good story for the game. So wonderful to see you involved with it. We can't let you go without looking at this field. So if we bring up the field, I want some of your thoughts on what we're seeing. This is always a really fun weekend. I don't have to tell you guys that, but feel free to jump in. We've got 9 spaces filled and 9 spaces still yet to be determined. Chelsea, take it away.
Well, I mean, obviously the spaces filled so far are sort of who you'd expect. Skyler Ackerman maybe considered a little bit of a surprise, but Saskatchewan seemed pretty wide open to me, and she's been an up and coming team for a long time. We see.
It's only 22.
But I've known her about her for a long time. Like before that, her name. She's played in Spiels and Sask that I was in even when she was a junior. So for somebody who's 22, she's sort of been around. It seems like she's been around for a while. Was a lot of fun for me to watch. Heather Smith and Jill Brothers is a good friend of mine, so seeing them win was really cool. And same with Danielle Inglis, who I'm also friends with, and I watched their win last night and got a little bit choked up in their celebration. First time winners is just, to me, always so fun to watch. So that's been really neat. The wild card race is the part that intrigues me maybe the most, because it's still so up in the air. It's pretty wild. That BC result is going to be interesting to see for sure. And then, I mean, you have to think it's McCarville in Northern Ontario, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Alberta there's 3 teams in Alberta that could all easily win, and there's probably 1 or 2 more besides that. So that's been interesting to watch. I mean, Quebec, you have to think Lurie is the favorite, but again, you just never know. Manitoba, of course, is going to be really interesting. We have the top 3 now decided as of a few minutes ago. So that will be interesting to see. I think it's Beth Peterson playing Kate Cameron in the 2-3 game, with the winner taking on Caitlin, who obviously is the favorite. But those are 2 teams that are in wildcard spots. But say Beth Peterson manages to win, then it gets interesting, right? So it could be really, really interesting to see that wildcard race. So I'm looking forward to watching the last little bit. A lot of times the wildcard sort of decided already, and it's pretty clear unless there's a major upset. But this year it's just there's like 6 teams that could be the wildcard team depending who wins here and who wins there. There's so many moving parts that it's been really fun to watch. And a lot of provinces have more parity when you take out Rachel Homan and Jennifer Jones.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. I like the new format. I like that those 2 spots were decided beforehand, because now it's put a lot of parity into some provinces that it's just hard to break through somebody like a Rachel Homan, True. So now it gives a team like Danielle, who's been knocking on that door for so long. I went through that in Manitoba playing against Jennifer all the time. We lost 3 finals before we won because we're playing Jennifer Jones and Kathy Overton and whatever. And then Jen goes to the Olympics and we finally win. And then after that, we've won a decent amount. So it's that was really fun for me to see, to take those teams out and give some new teams kind of a chance in provinces that have historically been so dominated by a couple of those top teams.
Love it.
Well said. What a recap. Wow. Did you have an auto cue for that?
You're hired. You got another job, Chelsea.
All up there.
I was kind of thinking, like, you don't need my analysis now.
She just summed it all up. There's nothing left to say.
I mean, I can
what
say
she said, we're all saying.
But it does give some young teams a chance to play in some big games early in their career, which, like, when I was young, it was Kevin Martin, Randy Furby, Kevin Cooey, John Morris, Blake McDonald, all in our province. And, like, I just sort of...
Darren Moulding.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was before anybody, knew who I was. So it's good to see these young teams in these big spots early in their career. I think that'll bode well for our curlers, in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see new faces, new teams. Being in Manitoba and curling there for, a couple Olympic cycles, they have such an amazing provincial program from the juniors. Like, look how well the juniors have done at World Championships. And then in men's and women's and mixed doubles, it's just an amazing province for that. But I think that is because of the system. The men's was a 32-team men's provincial championship. And it's such a grind to win it. Yes, and such a grind to win it, which there is a graveyard of curlers from Manitoba that no one's ever heard of that should have made it. I remember playing Jacques Gauthier like 5 years ago in the semifinal when he went to World Juniors. Who is this? Like, I didn't grow up here, and now he's at Briars in different areas. It's just it's a great opportunity, and I think Canada's going to be better off because we are doing the system this way. Put the teams in who put all that time and effort in, get their world ranking, but give an opportunity to everybody else. So I'm just excited to see the new faces. I'm pumped to see Danielle. She was at my first juniors in 2008. I was there with her, and it's just amazing to see her accomplish this now.
Love it.
I'm so glad to hear Manitoba can still fill a 32 field, because not many provinces could even come close. Like, we have an open spiel, all we get are 8. I think we had 1 play down with 3 spots extra, but it's sort of dire times in a lot of the provinces where just filling the field is hard.
Yeah. There's just so much history in that Manitoba provincial, and like Colin said, for years there was so many teams that could have won. People ask me all the time about success with a first-year team and going to that, the first 2 Scotties and doing as well as we did. And I said, I just grew up with the mentality. My dad, when he finally won went to the Briar, won it his first time. And he was older, and he said, when you play in Manitoba, you just don't know when you're ever going to get to go back. So you can't you're not just there to be there. You're like, this might be your only shot. Right. So you're there to win. Like, you just come into it with a different mentality, and you're more prepared because you've played against those really good teams every week for the last however many years. It's why we see a little bit of, like, the rich provinces get richer in that sense, because the competition is so good. But the history behind the Manitoba provincial, Manitoba men's provincial, to be clear, the women's is not 32 teams, never has been. But it's such a cool history, and the history of men's curling in Manitoba obviously has its own, significance there too. But yeah, it is very cool that they can still fill it. And not only can they fill it, like all of those different regions get a vote, and it will never not be 32 teams. Like they're all voting forever to keep it that way. And it's like a mini Briar. It's so cool.
I love that. I love that.
And quite frankly, that's what we need to get back to save this sport.
Field of Dreams.
You know, like truly. Yeah, we're going to have Nolan Thiessen on, new CEO for Curling Canada, who we all know very well, on the show tomorrow night. So that will get interesting, and this has given us some fodder, no doubt. Listen, to the point about Manitoba, I tweeted earlier today, you might have seen it, there could potentially be 5 Manitoba teams at the Scotties. So we get it, Manitoba. You're good at curling.
Don't be jealous, Saskatchewan boy.
I know.
Well, and that doesn't even include the Manitobans that are now in other provinces.
Oh, okay.
Serena Gray Withers could easily win Alberta. She's a Manitoban. Like you could go down around. I mean, I've been put in that category before too. It's like you have several Manitoba teams, but you also have me. I'm from Manitoba, so it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. I'm just saying.
Awesome.
Well, this has been fantastic. I'm thrilled. Thrilled for the three of you. Thrilled for the game. I think this is going to be an outstanding event. We're obviously going to be talking about it as we get closer and during. But congratulations on getting this done.
Awesome.
That mostly goes to Darren. He did it's his baby. He did most of the work, but but I'm grateful for it. We're excited.
Well, now we just
need gum in the basket. Nice to see you all.
It's good to see you guys too, Devin and Colleen. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Love a good story of curlers giving back.
Well, and how much in the history of this show, Colleen, have we talked about the athlete voice not being at the table?
Right.
And we have seen missteps because of that. And we've covered those missteps. And now listening to that, you really get the sense as we get updates from our curling fans. McCarville up 4-0 and is up 1-0 at 2 ends tonight. So she's on
early times.
But just hearing Chelsea talk about that mentality of showing up at an event and knowing what she would have liked, that's what's going to happen now.
Yeah, it's great.
And be the model, I think.
Well, considering the event, the disappointment at the event this year on a couple of fronts, and then that, of course, the World Curling Federation took those complaints and improved the Europeans as a result of that. So they were listening. Right. But I love the story. I love that these 3 great curlers are giving back in a real big way to a community that's important to them.
Outstanding. We're over an hour, Colleen.
I know, which is why if you saw me doing this move, I had to plug in because I had.
Well, I thought you were getting ready to cook dinner or something. I didn't know.
No, I had 1% left. We never do this to time. Never.
Colleen, it's been a while. So cheers.
Cheers to you too. Yeah. Cheers.
And
we're going to do it tomorrow.
Cheers to you, curling fans. We're back tomorrow night. In 24 hours, all of this curling chaos is going to be settled.
We love curling chaos and drama and all those great words.
The drama. Yeah. So we'll take you through all of it. We'll know what the Scotties field looks like. Like I said, we'll have Nolan Thiessen on the show tomorrow night as well. We have Carrie Anderson and Carrie Galusha. The Carries confirmed tomorrow night.
Carrie and Carrie.
And then we're looking to talk to some of the newest Scotties entries fresh off their wins tomorrow.
Awesome. So we'll see you again tomorrow. That's a wrap. 2024, 1 in the books. Thanks, producer. So see you tomorrow.
More to come.
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend Spotlight.